The sisters in the snow. The snowstorm howled like a wild beast. Liam Carter's boots crunched over the frozen ground as he stepped out of his small ship. He had landed on planet Velo 7 for a short rest, not expecting anything more than silence and cold. But the scanner had picked up something strange. 2 weak life signs, pulsing just beyond a broken ridge. He almost ignored it, thinking it was a glitch, but something deep in his gut told him to check. Something felt wrong as he moved forward. Snow clung to his coat, and the wind nearly pushed him off balance. He narrowed his eyes against the white. Then, suddenly, he saw them, 2 shapes, curled together beneath a collapsed metal structure. One looked older, arms wrapped tightly around the smaller one. Their skin was violet, not from the cold, but natural. Aliens, both looked barely alive. Frost had formed on their eyelashes, and their lips were blue. Liam's heart clenched. He dropped to his knees and touched the older one's shoulder. She flinched, barely able to open her glowing eyes. "Please, help my sister," she whispered, then collapsed again. Liam didn't wait. He wrapped them both in his thermal blanket and dragged them to his ship using a supply sled. It was slow, painful work, especially against the storm, but he made it. Inside the ship, he turned up the heat, grabbed every spare blanket he had, and wrapped the girls. He placed the younger one in the medical bed and checked her vitals. Weak but alive. The older one wouldn't let go of her sister's hand. Even while shivering violently, "She's all I have," she whispered again and again, barely conscious. Liam made them hot broth and fed them carefully, 1 spoon at a time. After hours, the younger girl opened her eyes, big, bright, and scared. She stared at Liam, then at her sister. Then she whispered, "You are not like them." Liam raised an eyebrow. "Who?" he asked softly, but she didn't answer. Instead, she grabbed his hand weakly and said, "Thank you for not leaving us." That night, Liam stayed awake, watching over them as they slept. He still didn't know who they were or why they were here, but he had seen enough war, enough broken bodies, to know they were victims, and they were too young to be alone in this wasteland. By morning, they had names. The older one was Sarah, the protector. The younger one was Nelia, quiet and gentle. Both had once been noble, daughters of a respected alien clan that had been destroyed in the recent galactic conflict. Their people were gone, their ship attacked, and they had fled into the snow with nothing. They had wandered for days, waiting to die. "You saved us," Sarah said plainly, her violet eyes meeting Liam's without fear. "Now we belong to you." Liam blinked, unsure if he heard her right. "What do you mean, belong to me?" he asked. Sarah didn't explain. She only looked at Nelia, who blushed deeply and looked away. Liam felt the air grow heavier. Were they serious? Or was this some kind of alien custom? Before he could speak again, the ship's warning alarm beeped. Something was moving outside. Another life form approaching fast. Liam rushed to the console. The scanner picked up one large signature, not human, and not friendly. His face turned hard. Velo 7 was supposed to be abandoned, but clearly, something or someone had tracked the girls. Sarah sat up weakly, clutching her sister. "It's them," she said quietly. "They're not done with us." Liam picked up his plasma rifle and checked the charge. "You're safe now," he said, his voice firm. "No one's taking you again." He stepped out into the snow, rifle raised. He didn't know what kind of enemy was coming. But one thing was certain. He wasn't going to let anyone harm them again, not while he was breathing. Inside, Sarah whispered something in her own language. Nelia nodded and stared at the door Liam had gone through. "He's brave," she said. "He's ours." Sarah replied with a faint smile, and outside, the hunter drew closer, but so did something else. Something even the enemy didn't expect. A human, who had already decided he'd rather die than lose the sisters he had saved from the snow. The moment Liam stepped into the snow again, the cold bit deeper than before, but the warmth of anger kept him steady. His rifle was ready, his senses sharp. He wasn't just protecting two strangers anymore. Something had shifted inside him. They were his. And he wouldn't let anyone take them again. The scanner beeped softly in his ear. One target. Large body. Not human. Not machine. Coming fast. But not loud. A trained killer. No doubt. Liam crouched behind a broken wall of ice. His eyes narrowed as a dark shape emerged through the storm. A hulking figure. Black armor. Covered in frost. It moved like a predator. Head scanning. Looking for heat. Looking for life. Liam didn't hesitate. He fired first. The plasma bolt hit the armored shoulder, knocking the creature back a step, but it didn't fall. Instead, it turned with a growl that echoed through the canyon. Its helmet hissed as it locked eyes on Liam. They traded fire. Liam's shots clean and quick. The enemy's blasts heavy and wide, turning snow to steam. Liam rolled behind cover, heart pounding. He knew this kind of hunter, not just a soldier, a tracker, sent to bring back prizes, dead or alive. Inside the ship, Sierra tried to stand. Nelia grabbed her arm. "You're too weak," she said. "We can't help him. We must," Sierra whispered. "He saved us." Outside, Liam ducked as a blast hit just inches above his head. He needed to end this fast. With a deep breath, he charged forward. Straight into the hunter's path. The move shocked the alien, giving Liam just enough time. He slid low and fired upward into the exposed joint beneath its chest armor. The shot hit true. The beast roared and collapsed into the snow, sizzling smoke rising from the hole in its chest. Liam stood over the body, breathing hard. Then he heard it. A second beep, another signal, smaller. Something was hiding nearby. He followed it carefully. Behind a boulder, curled up tight, was a drona, tiny silver sphere. It floated silently, recording everything, watching, reporting. Liam smashed it with the butt of his rifle. If they knew where the girls were, more would come. He rushed back into the ship. Sierra sat up as he entered. "You killed it?" she asked softly. Liam nodded. "But it was scouting. More could come. We don't have long," she whispered. "They will send more, bigger ones. Then we leave," Liam said firmly. "I'll take you somewhere safe, hidden." Nelia looked at him, eyes shining. "You would take us with you?" she asked. "Even now?" "Of course," Liam replied. "You're not just two girls I found in the snow. You're mine to protect." Sierra looked at him, her expression unreadable. Then slowly, she nodded. "In our culture," she said, "that means something. To save a sister-bonded pair. To fight for them. Feed them. Shelter them. You are claiming us, Liam Carter." "I'm not claiming anything," Liam said, surprised. "I just didn't want you to die." "But we accept," Nelia said softly, smiling. "We are yours now." Liam opened his mouth to argue, but stopped. There was something in the way they looked at him. Not like property, not like servants, but like someone they had chosen to. And somewhere deep inside, he didn't hate the idea. He started the engines and guided the ship into the sky. Below them, the snowy world disappeared into clouds. But his mind stayed cold, focused. They weren't safe yet. Whoever wanted the sisters would not give up easily. As they entered orbit, Sierra placed a hand gently on Liam's arm. "We were once royalty," she said, "hunted because of our blood. They wanted us gone so no heir could rise again." "And now?" Liam asked. "Now they'll come with fire," she said, "because they know we survived." Liam stared ahead. "Well, then we'll show them what happens when they mess with the wrong human." Behind him, the sisters exchanged a look. Sierra's serious gaze met Nelia's hopeful smile. They both understood something Liam did not yet. This wasn't just survival. This was the beginning of something far greater, something bound by blood, frost, and fire. And they had already decided. They didn't just want protection. They wanted him, not as a shield, but as a husband. And the stars ahead had no idea what was coming. Liam sat at the control panel as the ship moved quietly through the cold black sky. The stars looked peaceful, but his gut said the peace wouldn't last. He glanced back at the two sisters resting in the medical bay. Sarah sat up now, Her wounds healing fast thanks to human tech. Nelia stayed close to her sister, but always kept looking at Liam, like she was studying him, or something more. Syrah's voice cut through the silence. You should know something, human, she said, her tone serious. Liam turned his chair. I figured, he replied, the way you talk, the way you carry yourselves. You're not just anyone, Syrah nodded. We were born into the house of Velinara, she said, one of the oldest royal bloodlines of our kind. We were raised in crystal towers, taught ancient songs, protected by warriors who no longer live. Her voice cracked at the end. But now, our title is a curse. Liam frowned. Why would anyone want to hunt down royalty? Power. Syrah's gaze turned cold. Control, she said. The Empire feared our blood, our right to lead. They used the war to erase all noble lines. They sent mercenaries, assassins, even monsters made in labs. We survived only because one of our guards gave his life to launch our escape pod. Nelia touched her sister's hand gently. He said we'd find a safe world, she whispered. But we only found snow. Liam leaned back in his chair. And now you found me. Yes, Syrah said, slowly. And you fought for us, without knowing who we were. That's just what decent people do, Liam said. I'm not trying to earn a crown. Nelia smiled at him, her eyes soft. But that's why we trust you, she said. The greedy ones never help without asking something in return. Suddenly, the radar pinged. Liam spun back to the controls. Something was approaching. One ship, cloaked, closing the distance in silence. Too fast for coincidence? They were being tracked. They found us, Syrah whispered, already on her feet. Her hand rested on the edge of the wall. Steady, but tense. It's a bounty ship. How much are you worth? Liam asked, trying to sound calm. Syrah didn't answer. But the look in her eyes told him everything. They weren't just being hunted. They were being priced. Liam moved quickly, adjusting course. He dove toward a dead Muna lifeless rock. With no air, no heat, just cover. He shut off the lights, powered down the engines. From the outside, they'd look like space debris. The alien bounty ship hovered past them. Slow and searching, Liam held his breath. Syrah stood beside him, eyes glowing slightly in the dark. Nelia clung to his arm, her fingers cold but firm. They didn't speak. Even the ship seemed to hold its breath. Then the bounty ship drifted past, gone, for now. But they knew it wouldn't be the last. Liam powered the systems back on, and turned to the sisters. We need answers, he said. Not just names and bloodlines. Why do they want you so badly? Syrah hesitated, then stepped forward, her shoulders tense. There's something else, she said. Our blood carries more than royal claim. Our family had knowledge. Liam raised an eyebrow. What kind of knowledge? Nelia looked at her sister, unsure if they should say more, but Syrah nodded. Hidden coordinates. She whispered. 2 vaults, 2 weapons, 2 keys. Not just to power but to control of ancient machines lost in the war. They want you alive, Liam said slowly. Because you're a map. Yes, Syrah said, her voice now shaking. And we were never supposed to survive. Liam stood up and started pacing. He wasn't just sheltering refugees now. He was standing between the most dangerous secret in the galaxy and the ones trying to bury it. They'll burn whole systems to silence you, he muttered. And I'm one ship, one man, but you're a human, Nelia said softly. Liam looked at her. That's supposed to mean something. It does, Syrah answered. In the war, your kind did things no other species dared. Fought without fear, bled without surrender. You weren't bred for power. You were born to resist it. Liam sighed and sat down. So, what now? We don't want a throne, Syrah said. We only want peace. But we'll never have that if we keep running. Liam looked at them both, one strong, one gentle, both staring at him like he was their only hope. And maybe he was, then. Nelia took a step closer. We're not just passengers anymore, she whispered. You saved us. You listened. You stood by us. If our people were still alive, we would already be your wives by tradition. Liam blinked. Wait, what? Sira smirked for the first time. It's not a joke, she said. The life it, the bond. It means marriage in our culture. Before he could answer, the alarm rang again. Another ship had entered the system, and this one was broadcasting a message. Return the royal blood, or we burn your world. Liam's fists clenched. They didn't just want to silence the past. They were ready to wipe out anyone who stood in their way. But Liam Carter had already decided. He wasn't giving the sisters up. He was going to fight, even if it meant declaring war. Liam stared at the message blinking on the ship's screen. Return the royal blood, or we burn your world. The voice was cold, mechanical, but filled with arrogance. They didn't even try to hide their threat. Whoever was behind it wasn't bluffing. Sira and Nelia stood quietly behind him. Sira's hands were clenched, her jaw tight. Nelia trembled slightly but held her sister's hand. Neither of them asked Liam to surrender them, and he didn't ask them to leave. He turned off the message and stood up. They're not getting you, he said simply. His voice wasn't loud, but it carried weight. You're not going back to them. But they'll come for you, Siro said. They'll come with more ships, more weapons. Liam nodded. I know, he replied. Let them come. The sisters looked at him like he was insane, but there was something in his eyes. A quiet fire. Liam Carter was no soldier, no hero. He was just a man, but sometimes that was more dangerous than a whole fleet. He went to the back of the ship and opened a sealed locker. Inside were weapons, lots of them, old, stolen, modified, and deadly. He had collected them across dozens of planets, not because he wanted war, but because he always knew one day someone would come looking for trouble. He didn't expect it would be for two beautiful alien sisters, who now looked at him like he was their entire world. We'll need to hide, Liam said, loading a plasma cannon. Not forever. Just until I figure out what they're planning. Sira stepped forward. No, she said firmly. We're not hiding anymore. This is our fight too. Liam looked at her. She had changed so much since the day he found her frozen in the snow. Now she stood tall, proud, royal, and Nelia, though gentle, had fire in her eyes too. I'm not afraid anymore, she said quietly. You made us feel safe. Now, let us fight beside you. Liam didn't argue. He handed Sira a blaster and gave Nelia a small energy blade. They weren't trained soldiers, but they had something better, a reason to survive. They landed on a hidden moon, long abandoned, an old human outpost buried under ice and rock. Liam used it years ago to escape bounty hunters. Now it would serve again. He activated the defenses and set traps. The sisters helped where they could. Siro read old codes, hacked into scanners, and mapped enemy paths. Nelia ran wires, installed shields, and even cooked warm meals in the middle of fear and danger. They built something strange, a home. At night, they shared stories. Sira spoke of her childhood under silver trees. Nelia laughed about stealing fruit and getting caught by royal guards. Liam talked about Earth, about mountains and coffee and rain. None of them knew what tomorrow held, but for now, they had warmth and each other. The enemy didn't wait long. Within days, 5 ships appeared in orbit. Liam's outpost cloaking barely held, but the scanners showed something worse. One of the ships was broadcasting a live bounty. His face, his name, 10 million credits. Dead or alive, they've turned you into a target, Sira whispered. They want to break you. Liam just smiled. They think I'll run, but they forget something. What? Nelia asked. He looked at them both and said, I've got nothing to lose. That night, the first wave landed. 3 mercenaries, heavy armor, full weapons. Liam waited with a trap. They stepped onto the platform, and it exploded beneath them. Sira fired from the roof, hitting one who tried to crawl away. Nelia screamed as another burst through the side door, but Liam tackled him. They rolled across the floor, fists flying. The alien snarled and slashed with a blade, cutting Liam's arm, but Liam grabbed a metal pipe and struck his enemy down. Blood dripped from Liam's arm, but he didn't feel pain. He looked at the sisters. Both alive, both safe. "You're hurt," Nelia said, rushing to him. "It's nothing," he said, brushing her hair back gently. Ciro knelt beside him. "You risked your life," she whispered. "For us." Liam looked into her glowing violet eyes, and for the first time, he allowed himself to say it. "I'm not letting you go." The moment froze, not because of fear, but because they knew, from this point forward, they were no longer just survivors. They were bound by fate, by fire, and by a war that had only just begun. The smoke still lingered in the air. Liam stood at the edge of the old outpost, blood crusted on his torn sleeve. His breath was heavy, but his grip on the plasma rifle was firm. 3 dead mercenaries lay scattered near the wreckage, but more would come. He knew it. Inside, Nelia was treating his wound, her hands gentle. Sira sat nearby, scanning the come signals, eyes sharp, voice low. "They've raised the bounty," she said. 15 million now. Liam chuckled bitterly. "Guess that makes me special. It makes you dangerous," Sira said to them. Liam leaned back against the cold metal wall. "I'm just one man," he muttered. "Not a soldier, not a hero. You are to us," Nelia whispered. "You are the protector of royal blood." Liam blinked at her words. He wasn't used to titles. Back on Earth, he was a nobody, a scavenger, but here, with them, he was something more, not because of strength, but because he chose to stand when no one else would. The sisters knew it too. They didn't say it often, but the way they looked at him now, like he was the last wall between them, and the darkness spoke louder than words. That night, a coded message came through the old relay. An old friend of Liam's, Commander Hayes, former Earth Alliance soldier. His face appeared flickering on the screen. "Liam, what did you get yourself into this time?" the man said with a half smile. "Whole sectors are buzzing with your name." "I found something," Liam said carefully. "Or rather, someone." He stepped aside so the camera could see the sisters. Hayes' smile faded, replaced by sharp concern. "Those girls are Velenara blood," he said slowly. "I thought their line was wiped out." "They survived," Liam said, "and now everyone wants them dead." Hayes scratched his chin. "You know what you're doing by keeping them, right? You've made enemies of empires. Then let them come," Liam said quietly. "I won't give them up," Hayes nodded. "I'll send a data burst coordinates to a secret relay station. Hide there, and I'll try to contact Earth. Command." The signal cut. Silence returned, but hope stirred. Liam turned to the sisters. "You ready to run again?" Sira stood, tall and proud. "We're not running," she said. "We're choosing to move forward." Nelia nodded. "Where you go, we go." The journey to the relay station wasn't easy. They dodged 3 patrols, crossed a debris field from a fallen space station, and lost communication twice. But Liam's flying was sharp. The sisters worked together, guiding him with old star maps passed down through memory and song. They reached the station hidden deep in a red dwarf system, cloaked behind asteroid rings. No signs of life. No power, just ancient metal and dust. But when they entered, something strange happened. Lights flickered, doors unlocked on their own, as if the station recognized the sisters. "This was built by our ancestors," Sira whispered. "A safe haven." Inside the main chamber was a thronot, a seat of power, but a control chair wired into the station's core. When Sira touched it, the room lit up with glowing symbols. Ancient language filled the air. Nelia placed her hand beside hers, and the station hummed like it was waking from a deep sleep. Liam stepped back, amazed. "You two are more than royalty," he said. "You're keys to things no one even remembers." Sira turned to him. "And you're our protector," she said. "This place, it only responded because you brought us here." Outside, scanners showed ships approaching, but not enemy Zolas. Hayes had sent a small Earth fleet to guard the system. Word had spread. And while some wanted the sisters dead, others began to hope. Hope that the blood of Velenara could lead to peace. Hope that a single human could stand between tyrants and survivors. Hope that maybe, just maybe, something good could rise from the ashes of war. That night, under the stars, the sisters stood beside Liam on the platform. Nelia leaned her head on his arm. Sira folded her hands behind her back, her eyes on the stars. "Do you think this will end?" Nelia asked softly. "Someday," Liam said, "but until then, I'll be here." "You're not alone anymore," Sira added, "whatever comes. We face it together." For the first time in years, Liam felt it. Not just duty, not just danger, but something real, something worth fighting for. A family, born not of blood, but of choice. And as the stars shimmered above, he finally accepted the truth. He wasn't just one man anymore. He was the protector of royal blood, and maybe the galaxy would learn what that truly meant. Liam Carter sat alone inside the command room of the ancient relay station. The lights hummed quietly around him, glowing with symbols that only Sarah and Nelia could fully understand. The sisters were resting now, exhausted from activating the old systems, but Liam couldn't sleep. His eyes were locked on the star map above. So many systems, so many enemies, and somewhere out there worlds beginning to whisper his name. The galaxy had started to take sides. Some rulers saw the sisters as a threat, a symbol of rebellion. Others saw hope, and Liam, once just a scavenger, was now being called something else. Guardian. He didn't ask for the title. He didn't want glory. But the moment he pulled the sisters from the snow, his fate was sealed. The door hissed open behind him. Nelia stepped in, barefoot and wrapped in a blanket. Her eyes were sleepy, but kind. "You're not resting," she said. Liam smiled faintly. "Too much on my mind." She walked over and sat beside him. "You think they'll find us again?" "They will," Liam said, without hesitation, "but I'll be ready." She reached for his hand. Her fingers were small, warm. "You've already done more than anyone ever has for us," she whispered. "We were ready to die that night in the snow." "I know," Liam said softly, "but I'm not letting you go back to that life." Nelia looked up at him. "In our culture, the one who guards the royal blood is more than just a protector. He becomes part of the line." Liam turned to her. "You mean, like family?" She nodded slowly, "Or something closer." Then her cheeks turned a deep violet. "I know I'm not as brave as Sira, but I want to be close to you, Liam." Before he could reply, the alarm blared. Sira's voice echoed through the comms. "Liam, get to the deck now." He and Nelia rushed to the control station. Sira pointed to the screen. 2 large ships approaching. No ID, no flags. Mercenaries, hired killers. Tracking them again. Liam gritted his teeth. "They're faster this time," he muttered. "We have 15 minutes. Sira handed him a weapon. "These ships are too strong for us alone," she said. "But there might be another way," Nelia gasped. "You're not thinking of using the beacon, are you?" Sira nodded. "It will send a signal across 7 sectors. Anyone who still remembers the Velenara will hear it." Liam frowned. "Won't that bring more enemies too?" "Yes," Sira said, "but maybe it will bring allies." He looked at both sisters, their eyes full of trust, full of belief. He nodded. "Do it." Sira and Nelia placed their hands on the glowing stone in the center of the command room. They began to chant in their native tongue. The walls shimmered. The station shook. A wave of energy burst from the tower, a cry for help, a call to arms, a message of survival. The enemy ships entered orbit minutes later. Liam activated the defenses, cloaking held, but barely. He armed missiles, placed mines, and readied the pulse cannon. "This is it," he whispered. "If no one comes, we fight until we can't." Sarah stood beside him in full armor, her blaster ready. Nelia gripped her energy blade, nervous but determined. The 3 of them watched as the ships descended. Any second now, the outpost would be discovered. They would be overwhelmed. Then the scanners beeped again. Another ship coming fast. Then another. Then 5, 10, 15. Syrah's eyes widened. They answered. She whispered, the other houses. They came. Dozens of ships appeared. Not warships, but old vessels marked with the forgotten symbols of the royal bloodlines. Refugees, rebels, protectors from the shadows. They had heard the beacon, and they had come. The mercenaries tried to flee, but they were outnumbered, outgunned, outmatched, in moments. The sky turned into a battlefield, but not for destruction, for protection. Liam watched it all from the control room. He had done it, not with an army, not with a flag, but by choosing to protect 2 lives when no one else would. When the battle ended, a message was broadcast across open channels from one of the surviving houses. A voice rang out, clear and strong. Liam Carter, protector of royal blood, guardian of Velanara, savior of the fallen, your name shall be remembered. He turned to the sisters. They stood quietly, tears in their eyes, not of fear, but of relief, of pride. Liam stepped forward and gently touched their hands. You're not alone anymore, he said, and neither am I. And in that moment, he finally understood. He hadn't just saved them, they had saved him too. The warships were gone now. The stars above the ancient station had returned to silence. But the galaxy was no longer the same. Liam Carter, once a lone explorer, had become something far greater. Not because of power, but because he chose to protect 2 forgotten sisters in the snow. He stood on the balcony of the station's highest tower. Below, ships gathered like birds around a sanctuary. More vessels were arriving each day. Some carried survivors of lost houses. Others brought food, clothes, and healing supplies. All came in peace. All came because of them. Sarah, daughter of the Velanara, stood beside Liam, her armor now replaced by a flowing robe of royal blue. She no longer looked like a hunted girl. She looked like a queen reborn. Neil walked up quietly, holding a small carved pendant. She placed it into Liam's hand. He looked at it. It was shaped like 2 interlocking stars, the bond of 2 suns. She said softly, it is worn only by the husband of royal blood. Liam blinked. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came. You don't have to. Say yes, Nelia added quickly, but in our tradition, you already have. Sarah stepped forward, her voice calm and clear. You found us in the snow, she said. You gave us fire when we had none. You fought for us, not because of who we were, but because you chose to. And now, the galaxy has seen what one human heart can do. Liam looked down at the pendant again. His chest felt heavy. He was never good with grand speeches, never dreamed of titles or thrones, but he looked up and saw their faces, the trust in their eyes, the love, the hope, and he knew he could never turn away from that. I was just trying to do the right thing, Liam said quietly. And now? I can't imagine life without you both. Nelia's eyes filled with tears. Syrah simply smiled. Then Liam placed the pendant around his neck, and the station's lights glowed golden in response. It had accepted the union, not just of titles, but of souls. The ceremony was simple, held beneath the star chamber, surrounded by survivors, rebels, and ancient bloodlines. A human man, flanked by 2 alien sisters, once cast aside, now bonded in the sight of the stars. When Liam took Syrah's hand, she squeezed it firmly. When he touched Nelia's cheek, she leaned into his palm, and when the crowd bowed, they did not bow to fear, they bowed to love, to hope, to choice. Afterward, the 3 sat together near the edge of the balcony. They watched small children play in the old hallways. Syrah rested her head on Liam's shoulder. Nelia curled beside him, her hand in his. Do you ever think, Nelia said quietly, that if you hadn't landed that day, we would have died in the snow? I try not to, Liam said, but... Yes, Syrah nodded. The universe is cruel sometimes, she said, but not that day. Liam looked out at the stars. They still want peace, he asked. They follow your example, Syrah replied. Other systems are negotiating. forming new alliances. Velenara lives, not as rulers but as a symbol. And you, Nelia added, are no longer just a protector. You're our bridge to the galaxy. Liam sighed deeply. I never wanted this, he said. I didn't want titles or fame, but you earned them, Sarah said gently, because you never wanted them. A small voice interrupted them. A child one of the survivors held up a drawing. It showed Liam holding hands with the two sisters, standing under a bright sun. You're my hero, the child whispered, then ran off. Liam stared at the drawing. His throat tightened. He had lived so many years alone, wandering from system to system, but now, he had a place, a family, a purpose. That night, as they lay beneath the stars on the observation deck, Nelia whispered, Liam, can I ask you something strange? Of course, he said. If we had met another way, on another world, do you think we still would have ended up here? He looked into her eyes, then to Sarah, already sleeping nearby. I don't know, he answered honestly, but I do know one thing. What's that? Nelia asked. I would have loved you anyway, Liam said, both of you, and she smiled. Because that was all she ever needed to hear, in a galaxy filled with war, betrayal, and power. One man had chosen kindness, and in return, two hearts had chosen him, not for his weapons, not for his name, but for the warmth he gave them in the coldest snow, the fire he carried in his chest, and the love that made him not just their guardian, but their husband, of two sisters, and two worlds.